Hey, it's Pierre. So I did an introduction video previously to these Pro Kennex rackets, and in this video I'm going to review the Momentum series of rackets. These are the teardrop frames, and I'm going to do all these reviews in one video because the rackets they're really all the same shape, and they're actually quite similar in terms of the stats. Basically, they're all within 5 grams of each other. The lightest one, the latest two are the Speed and Momentum CB, and these are this is 149 grams. The CB is 1 gram heavier, and the kinetic momentum is 154, so there's only 5 grams between them, and they all have very similar balance points too. The first two are these two, the Speed is, I got it at 36 centimeters, and these two were 35.5. So all pretty head light. That's close enough to where, you know, they're all pretty much the same as far as I can tell. The strange thing about it was, even though the stats on these rackets were very similar, I had a real different feeling playing with each of them. It's quite strange to me because I was playing with them and assumed that they were going to come out a certain way, and I was really surprised to find out they all weighed and balanced about the same. So the Momentum Speed feels like the lightest racket of the bunch. It is, but only by 1 gram. It just feels a lot quicker and more maneuverable to me, and even a little bit, for me, a little bit too light. Although definitely it's not the lightest racket around by any means, but it was the lightest of the three, and so this was kind of what I felt the most maneuverable of them. And by the way, all three of these I've played well with. The Speed was, I think, the most maneuverable. The Kinetic, oddly, felt the heaviest in the head. It felt bulkier in a certain way than the other three, even though it really ended up only 5 grams heavier, and 154, that's not very heavy. Just a few grams more than the others, but it felt heavier. I don't know if that could be the kinetic technology that took a little while to get used to, and as I played, this one had the biggest learning curve for me. The longer I played with this, the better I played with it, and the more natural it felt. But straight out of the wrapper, this one it felt a little heavier, and I felt possibly a little too heavy. My favorite of the three was the CB, the counterbalance model. This one felt in between to me, and I kind of I like having a nice solid feel to my rackets with a little bit of heft behind them, and this just, for me, had the right balance of all the ingredients on a personal level. It maybe because of the kinetic material and in the grip, just kind of, it felt a little deader, which I personally prefer in a racket, and it had some heft to it, but it wasn't too heavy. And so that was my personal favorite of the three. But like I said, they were all very close, and so they're kind of going to be a little bit to your personal taste as to which of the three you might like the best. I'm probably going to do a little bit of a separate review, at least of the Kinetic Momentum, because I want to explain a little bit how this feels on court, and I'm going to take it out on court. Actually, I'll probably take all three of these out on court in a separate video so I can talk through kind of what it feels like live time as I'm as I'm hitting. But those are my initial thoughts on the 3 Pro Kennex Momentum teardrop rackets. Thanks again to Dan from Pro Kennex for sending me these rackets to review, and I'll be back with more info on these and on the other Pro Kennex Destiny rackets, the traditional head-shaped ones, in follow-up videos. All right, thanks a lot.